Hello and welcome to a Monday edition of the Managing Madrid Podcast. I'm your host, Kiyan Sobhani, joined by my co-host, Lucas Navarrete, who is wearing a hoodie today. Getting chilly in Valencia, huh? Now you know what we feel like in Canada
Not
with
really. I'm
our
just ready to
cardigans and
take
our
off.
hats.
I'm just ready to take off after we're done, so that I didn't have to get dressed for me leaving when we get done and all that. So I'm just basically ready to leave the house when we're done.
Okay, I thought you were just ashamed of your Nuggets all of a sudden because you saw the
Nah, nah,
Raptors
nah. No way.
Raptors take down Wembayana last night and you were like shaking in your boots.
He was a
All
good
right.
one, yeah.
So let's get the laughter. Start the podcast with laughter because there's a lot of sadness in the Real Madrid universe right now with Real Madrid dropping 2 points at the Bernabeu against Rayo Vallecano. Matt and I broke it down last night. As always, this edition is on Mondays is a reflection on the game, possibly less emotional. So what is your take? I know you're not happy with Vinicius and Rodrygo. I saw that on your Twitter last night. How you feeling today?
It's hard to see any bright silver linings after what happened last night. I mean, it's just beyond frustrating to see Real Madrid dropping 2 points at home against Rayo in what should be a very manageable game for Madrid. Just 1 week after, just earning 3 points against Barcelona in El Clásico, hard fought win. All of a sudden you have a 2-game lead because it's a 4-point lead, and you drop 2 points in a very manageable game against Rayo. It's so disappointing to see Real Madrid dropping these points, but the writing was on the wall. We've been vocal about this for weeks that Real Madrid would be in trouble if Bellingham were not to show up or were not to score in a single game, and it showed last night. One game without a Bellingham goal, and it cost Real Madrid 2 points already. So, yeah, it's hard to see any big silver linings, and it's disappointing and frustrating to see Real Madrid dropping the ball like this. Just 1 week after earning those 3 points in El Clásico, which were massive, obviously.
Where so I'm curious to explore this more with you because I've been thinking a lot about this since the game last night. And I revisited chunks of the performance today. And I gotta say, like, I didn't really take issue with the performance itself. Like, we created a bunch of chances, our defense was good, we didn't score. And so my mind went to the board and the fact that, you know, how much do we want to blame the players that Joselu is leading the line and not somebody like Harry Kane? Maybe that's a dramatic statement to make. Maybe Real Madrid just weren't going to get Harry Kane anyway. I believe he was attainable, but I think the club looked at his price tag and his age and said, "We'll reserve these funds for Mbappe instead." But I mean, like, what else could the players have done apart from score? And then maybe, I know some people took issue with the way Vinicius reacted in certain moments, but what blame do we put on the players specifically, like on a tactical level and a performance level?
To me, the responsibility has to be shared after this result. It's not like it was embarrassing or anything like that, but it has to be It has to be shared. Like, for example, I don't know why Brahim hasn't gotten a single minute in over the last 3 games, man. And I don't know. I don't see why Brahim shouldn't get a single minute in a game like last night's. So there goes one for Ancelotti. Also for the players, man. I realized that yesterday all that we're asking is that they score, but at the end of the day, the numbers for both Vinicius and Rodrygo to me are inexcusable, right? It's just those numbers, that kind of production after 3 months of the season, it's beyond inexcusable to me because sample size is already big enough for us to say this might go beyond poor form or a scoring funk or whatever. It's just a matter of it's starting to be worrying, and also definitely the board has to be playing for not giving Ancelotti another striker to use in a game like last night. I think Joselu, we know, we've said this time and time again for the last months. Joselu is this kind of player. Joselu is a Spanish caliber player, a mid to bottom of the table kind of striker, and Real Madrid should not expect Joselu to save the day when neither Vinicius nor Rodrygo nor Bellingham have it going, right? It's not Joselu is the least responsible of them. He's just doing his very best, and he wasn't signed to lead Real Madrid in the scoring department, right? So the responsibility has to be shared, in my opinion. On one hand, I think Ancelotti could have used more players last night. And I'm not talking about Guller, who I was talking about this on Twitter the other day. Some people were asking about Guller, and to me, that's nonsense. A player who's coming off knee surgery hasn't played a single minute for the last 6 months. You cannot put Guller in a match like last night, so that should not be on Ancelotti. But Brahim, man, I don't know. I don't know why Brahim wasn't used last night and why he hasn't been on the field a single minute for the last 3 games. So responsibility has to be shared, I think.
Yeah, look, there's people crying out for Goulet. Obviously, the game last night made no sense. Carlo Ancelotti, for all the things you agree with him or disagree with him, what he said last night was correct, that you can't throw him on in a game like this when players are fighting on the field. You have to win. That's not the ideal debut. And quite frankly, I don't know how much he would have saw. Like, let's say Goulet is playing at his peak, because everyone's saying he has to play next game. Goulet actually doesn't solve our main problem, which is putting the ball in the back of the net. Our creative output is fine. We're not struggling to create chances. The numbers back that up. We all see the chances we're missing. What we need a cold-blooded assassin who scores goals. That's all we need. Like, that's the missing piece. If you asked me before the season started, we'd be in this position we are today, I would have been like, that makes sense, because we're good enough to win games, but we're also not, we don't have the firepower to win games 4-0, 5-0. So our wins are going to come marginal. They're going to be 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, whatever. That's exactly what the team is right now. What I am surprised about is that Jude Bellingham has 13 goals, but that's the thing. Like, and this is why I have trouble putting blame on the players or any one entity. And this is why as much as sometimes I'm critical of Carlo, I can't blame him for what's happening. If you had told him that, hey, we're trading Benzema for Joselu next season, you think he would have liked that? You think he's like, oh, great. But of course, publicly, he'll say, yes, we have all these things. And he always tries to say the right things, and he tries to make it work. He's playing with the diamond. I think it's been a creative way to get the best out of the squad. But man, excuse my French, we're fucked if Jude Bellingham didn't do what he was doing this season so far. And nobody
would be a Real without him. We are that kind of team. Yeah, we're like 5th, 6th in the table without his heroics from this first third of the season. I think we would be that bad. He's saved Real Madrid's ass for the last 3 months in quite a consistent basis. He saved, I can possibly say, 3 or 4 games where Real Madrid would have dropped points had it not been for Bellingham's scoring heroics, which nobody expected and predicted. So on one hand, we're all celebrating Bellingham's success, and we're all very happy for how great his signing has been. And on the other, it's worrying, man, because he needs to keep it up for the next 6 months or so in order for Real Madrid to have a shot at winning the title, unless Vinicius and Rodrygo wake up, obviously.
Yeah, that's correct to me. I just, like, none of us, the club itself, Ancelotti himself, had no idea this was going to be what we were getting from Jude Bellingham. I don't care what you say. I don't care how much you believe in him. We've talked about this. So the fact that he has gone to this level has been great for us. I also, like, there was a part of me that, because last night I still felt like we were going to score a goal, because that's my, just being a Real Madrid fan over the years, you kind of talk yourself into that kind of delusion that, we're going to figure it out at the end. There's also part of me that thought, you know what? as cool of a story it is to have Bellingham game winners at the end of every game, there's part of me that thinks like, you know what, that might be a bad thing for the team that this is what we're doing every game because it's not sustainable. It's too reliant. It's not a system that you can build around. It's great because he's amazing and thank God for him. But from a like overall process standpoint, I'm not sure if it's like good to keep putting these band-aids on these performances. And again, like this is the thing. This is where I struggle, Lucas, a little bit. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Because last night the narrative was we played good. We replay that game a bunch of times. We win it. We score those chances. And then there's the flip side of it where it's like Ancelotti, this is what Ancelotti said after the game, which is a true statement. Sometimes you win games you don't deserve to win. And sometimes you don't win games that you do deserve to win. That's football. That's a true statement. But the thing is, like, no matter how you spin it, the problems in the team are very clear. You can control games. You have great midfielders. You have players who can create and break lines, but you don't have a player who can put the ball in the back of the net consistently. You have players who can do it sometimes. Vinicius and Rodrygo and Joselu are good in terms of goal production if they're not the ones who have to carry it. Jude Bellingham, as great as he is, I don't think can be your leading goal scorer. Like that's not his role, even though he's showing us that he can do that. So you need the guy up top. You do need him. And I really don't think this is reactionary to what happened last night because it's been happening all season, right?
Correct. I agree with you. And also the bad thing to me is that this game just 1 week after Clásico, man, it's just these games you have to win. I don't know about you. Yeah, it's Real Madrid are creating chances. Yeah, fine. But don't you think like the playmaking output should be more consistent and more sustainable throughout the course of the game? Like I can name three real quality chances last night. Don't you think you should create more against Rayo? I mean, in 90 minutes, I feel like the first half was completely thrown away by Real Madrid, apart from that chance from Valverde, who missed the 1v1 against the goalkeeper. But that's not a chance you created. That's a ball you stole from a misplaced
I think
Rayo
it
pass.
counts. Like if you're pressing...
Okay. I don't think that comes because of your playmaking, but okay, we can agree on the sense that you need to press efficiently to create the chance, fine. But that's not a good example of playmaking, the Valverde chance, I don't think. So I can actually name maybe two more. So I think that on the playmaking department, you can also be a little bit better, even though obviously you have brilliant playmakers on the field with Bellingham, Vinicius, Rodrygo, Modric. I also think that, the coaching staff can build a more efficient way and a more sustainable way of creating chances like time and time again against low blocks. I know facing low blocks is hard, but 90 minutes at home at the Bernabeu, I have to assume that you can create chances more often than what Real Madrid did last night, really.
Yeah, look, I mean, in terms of talent, we had the players on the field to beat Rayo with or without, someone like Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe. That's
and to have like 20 shots on target, which you didn't.
Well, to be quite honest, Lucas, I'm okay with our creative output last night. I mean, I think we did all the right things. I think Rayo basically had zero interest to play offense last night. They were in a low block. They did nothing offensively, nothing at all. And so, you look at what we were doing. I think we were doing mostly the right things. Vinicius had 10 completed dribbles. He was trying to break lines. He had a few cutbacks in the box, scores an offside goal where Joselu was offside. Bellingham had a couple good chances. I guess the 2 or 3 chances you're talking about is one Fede. Then you had 2 Vinicius chances. One was the header, and one was when Modric plays the outside of the boot pass. Rodrygo has that shot, like when he immediately comes on. I think I'm fine with that, but here's where I think we really get hurt, and this is where Joselu is just not good enough. With all due respect, the play often broke down because he can't do anything outside the box. And that's where it really hurts, where that Rodrygo hasn't stepped up, because Rodrygo can play outside the box and he's not scoring. And that's what really hurts us. I think, to be honest, the thing that's hurt us the most out of everything this season is the fact that Rodrygo has been playing like this. Because if he plays like even like he does last season, this team is better, way better.
Right. He's not even creating.
Yeah.
Right.
The question is, how quickly can he get it together? And we talk about Vinicius missing chances and Joselu missing chances. Statistically speaking, he's the one who's underperforming his XG the most. And he needs to get it together. And I saw like some groans about the contract extension. I'm fine with it because, you know, in the club size, maybe it's like a vote of confidence that to him to get going and stuff, but he needs to step up. I also want to go back to the Brahim point you made. He does not deserve to be outcasted like this at all. At all. He's made a difference every time he's played. There's like a lack of trust there. I don't get it.
He guarantees creating chances, and you might be okay, as you said, with the output Real Madrid had last night. I still think Real Madrid could have used like 2 or 3 quality chances more. And Brahim, you put Brahim in with 10 minutes or 15 minutes to go, and you pretty much are guaranteeing that he will have or he will create a good opportunity to score. So I don't think he deserves this. I completely agree with you. And about Rodrygo, I'm perfectly fine with the extension. And the main issue to me is that not only he's not scoring, but yeah, he's not contributing from the playmaking standpoint either, and he's not helping much outside the box either. So that's worrying to me, and I start to wonder, man, whether or not he might be feeling the pressure that comes with the responsibility of starting for Real Madrid and being named like the heir apparent of Benzema, or the player who now has to step up after Benzema left. Similar, I mean, some people might say this is disrespectful towards Rodrygo. I don't think so, but this happened with Asensio as well. Remember, Asensio was a brilliant player coming off the bench. We all assumed that he would be fine by taking the promotion and becoming an undisputed starter and being the main successor to Cristiano Ronaldo when Cristiano Ronaldo left. And it turns out that he was never comfortable in that role. He was never comfortable being the star or a leader of the offensive line. He was a perfectly fine player coming off the bench for 30-20 minutes and contributing in that department, but he was never ready to take that responsibility for Real Madrid. I saw that happen like 5 or 6 years ago, and I start to wonder if this is something that might actually be happening to Rodrygo as well. I don't know if maybe it would help him to come off the bench for an entire month, settle down, get rid of that pressure of having to score consistently for Real Madrid or leading the offense in that scoring department, and let him come off the bench and then maybe take baby steps from there. Because I think right now this is something that has to do with with the pressure and the responsibility that comes with starting and leading Real Madrid's offensive line. I think of Asensio when I see what's happening to Rodrygo.
It's not a bad comparison. Look, I said it in the summertime too. Like, it's one thing to be disappointed that Rodrygo didn't take the leap you wanted him to. It's another thing to have been naive enough to think that he would have solved your problems anyway. Like I said in the summertime, Rodrygo is a good goal scorer if he doesn't have to score goals, if his goals are a bonus. But when you're in a situation where you absolutely need him to lead the line and like this, it's bad squad planning. And this is why, man, you see what Harry Kane is doing. Like, I'll take this to my grave. Harry Kane was the perfect cap, like just bow tie to this team. The cherry on top of the cake. He would have complemented this exact roster so perfectly in a team that was so reliant on the way Benzema played outside and inside the box, the way that Vinicius connected with someone more central like that. It would have just been the perfect purchase. And I don't care about his age or his price. Sometimes you pay the price more when you don't get players like that. Anyways, it's done. Whatever. Maybe you get Mbappe next summer and no one cares. Like this season, you write off as like, okay, that was tough, but it was all worth it in the end. I don't know. I think it's just that the thing with this team is that it's so good at so many things, and it's so close to being a top, 2 team, but it's missing that one assassin up top, one guy who can put the ball in the back of the net.
We were on the same page with Harry Kane from the very beginning, man. We were all very excited about the possibility of signing him. So I definitely share your feelings about the missed opportunity of not signing Kane, because I also believe that he would have been just perfect for this team. He would have that British connection with Bellingham as well. Would have been just perfect. And the price wasn't that crazy to me. Like, okay, fine, he wasn't cheap, but
he
it's
was
not
worth
like
it.
He was worth it, and it wasn't it wasn't a crazy price by any means. It is a fair price in my opinion, in my eyes and in my book. I think that it was a fair price, and granted, you can only assume that Kane will be a top striker for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 years, and that's maybe what kind of prevented Real Madrid from going after him. But I completely agree with you that he would have been perfect.
So as you wrote about today on Managing Madrid, that Bellingham may be out of the Braga game with the dislocated shoulder. I'm, of all games to miss, I'm totally okay if that's the one he misses, obviously. We might venture into the ultra rare front three of Joselu, Rodrygo, and Vinicius, if that's the case, and maybe a 4-3-3. Something to look out for.
I think Modric will play there.
The 10 role?
Yeah. I think he's been kind of used in that kind of role a few times here and there. Ancelotti has been mentioning him when asked about a potential Bellingham replacements in the squad. So unless or until both Brahim and Güler can establish themselves a little bit more, I think Modric will be the one playing behind the strikers, so that Ancelotti always has one of Vinicius, Rodrygo, or Joselu sitting on the bench in case he needs them.
So basically, just keep the formation regardless if Bellingham's on the field or not, just to keep it consistent. Brahim looked great there against Las Palmas. I know it was just Las Palmas, but man, you got to start somewhere. That's what he was doing. That was the opponent. That's not his fault. He did well, and cameo off the bench has been good. Do we see Arda on Wednesday, you think?
Depends on the context, I think. Just like last night, I think we would have seen him last night had Real Madrid been up like 2-0, 3-0 by the 80th minute. We would have probably seen him. So it will depend on the context. Once again, I don't think Ancelotti will want to give him the opportunity to make his debut in a closely competed game like the one last night, or like maybe the one against Braga, if that's the context. So it will depend on the score and the intensity of the game. I think you need a slow, calm, non-very physical game to give Güler his first shot of playing for Real Madrid after these 6 months.
Makes sense. We got to wrap it up here. Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to touch on?
Not really. I just wanted to say that even if Bellingham were to be available, I would probably give him the opportunity to rest. Sure. I think he has no business being on the field against Braga if he's questionable 2 days ahead of the game. I think you take no risks and let him sit that one, even if he's available.
I agree. Are we back on Thursday or Friday this week?
Friday, if possible.
Okay, cool. So this is the last free show of the week, guys. Members get access to Wednesday's post-game show. I think we'll do a live call tomorrow for members. I'll keep you guys updated. Just turn your notifications on if you're a member. And then Friday mailbag, that's all for members only. You can go to patreon.com/Managing Madrid to join the family, or you can click the membership tab on YouTube. Same content, same access. Just choose one of them, whatever you prefer. Lucas, good chatting.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for taking the time, and we'll speak on Friday. Take care.
You too.